Welcome to No Flipping Excuses with Jason Lucchesi. Jason Lucchesi was the guy voted least likely to succeed by his high school peers. Today, Jason's a real estate flipping ninja Jedi Knight assassin who's taken his drive, street smarts, and never give up attitude and converted them into a real estate flipping business and freedom-based lifestyle. Here to share the truth about flipping houses, finding sellers, delivering buyers, real estate investing without the reality show hype, and all-around general business badassery. Your host, Krav Maga enthusiast, husband, and father of three, Jason Lucchesi.
Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchesi, and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses show. I am super excited for this episode. We have not discussed doing land investing, and I've got a really good friend of mine joining me today, Mr. Mark Podolski. Mark, how you doing, my man?
Jason Lucchesi. Pulse is normal. Respiration's fine. I'm so honored, so humbled, so privileged to spend time with you.
Oh, man, it's pleasure's all mine. I'm glad you're here. You're the first of our kind being on No Flipping Excuses talking about land, and I'm really excited, man. We haven't had that up for discussion yet, but a lot of folks have been asking about it, so this is going to be good. And for folks that don't know you, Mark, why don't you kind of tell folks a little bit about your background and how you got involved with doing land?
All right, so it's the year 2000.
Yep.
And I'm working as an investment banker, specializing in mergers and acquisitions with private equity groups. And Jason, it was miserable. I had a 45-minute commute to work and back. I was micromanaged. It was long hours. It was high pressure. And it got so bad for me that I wouldn't get the Sunday blues, anticipating Monday coming around. I'd get the Friday blues, anticipating the weekend going by really fast.
Oh, no.
And having me back at work on Monday. So my firm hires this guy, and he tells me that as a side hustle, he's going to tax deed auctions. He's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar. He's flipping them online, and he's making a 300% return on his investment.
Whew.
And I'm like, wait, something doesn't sound right, because I'm looking at companies all day long. And a great company has 15% EBITDA margins or free cash flow. Great company.
Yeah.
Your average company is at 10%, and I'm looking at companies all day long less than 10%. So I've got $3,000 saved up for car repairs. I go to New Mexico with him. I do exactly what he says to do. I buy up 10 half-acre parcels at an average price of $300 each.
Wow.
I put them up online, and I sell all of them at an price of $12 each, 300%. It worked.
Wow.
So I took all that money, and I went to another tax deed auction where I live in Arizona. And again, it's 2000. There's no one in the room. I'm buying up lots, acreage for like nothing. And over the next 6 months, I sold up all that land, and I made over $92,000 profit. So I go to my wife. I'm like, honey, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to invest in land full time. She's pregnant at the time.
Oh,
She's
no.
like, absolutely not. So I said, fine. So I worked at land investing as a side hustle for about 18 months. And when the land investing income exceeded the investment banking income, then I quit, and I've been doing it full time ever since.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So
I know you came from that world, and I came from the world where we were writing all the bad paper, where I was with Countrywide Home Loans. I was on their subprime division. Yeah. So we were writing up all those so-called AAA rating packages. So I totally get it. My wife was pregnant, and I was out of a job. So I was in a totally different circumstances than you. Luckily, you still had the position. And I always tell folks, before you quit your job, make sure you have replaced that income before you just go gung-ho. And then, you're like, well, they told me if I just did this, I could quit my job, and nothing's coming in yet. So, that's what I recommend. But this is awesome. So you took $3,000 you had, bought 10 land deals for $300 a piece. And what was the number again that you sold them at individually online?
I sold them for $1,200 each.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
That is massive. So let's flash forward to good old 2018. Things have changed quite a bit since when you first got involved, from all the technology that we have at our fingertips now. I'm assuming it's probably easier to sell these things than it was back in the early 2000s.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Jason, it's a machine now.
Yeah.
Because of software, I'm 90% automated.
Wow.
And so, I mean, the whole thing is just completely automated. I should say completely. It's 90% automated. There's still 10% that human beings still have to kind of do.
Right.
But it's literally the best time ever to be in business with software, automation, inexpensive virtual assistants from all around the world, to be able to tap into global talent.
Yeah.
And do what we need to do. I mean, I was talking to a guy at one of my events, and he ran a $1 billion real estate private equity group. And he was telling me they spend on average about $1 million on due diligence per deal.
Oh.
And I told him that I spent $11 on my due diligence. And he couldn't wrap his head around it. I'm like, well, we've got a team in the Philippines. They're tapped into an American title company, and they do everything. And he just couldn't, like, it was like completely foreign to him, how we can do that. And so if you want, I can walk you, step by step through the model.
Yeah, let's do it. And for those that don't understand the whole virtual assistants thing, it's just mind blowing what these folks can do. They have MBAs, they have PhDs, they're doctors. They're so smart. Like when we hire somebody off of Upwork, Mark, it's crazy. Like their background that they send us, it's like so hard not to hire them because of their background. So it's so drop dead simple to do it. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm really excited to learn about your step-by-step process. And for those that are listening to us on iTunes right now, I want to tell you, Mark is on a treadmill right now, and I am so jealous because I just got done stuffing my face with a sandwich when I should be doing the treadmill thing. So I feel awful now for eating that delicious sandwich, which I probably should have done maybe some carrots and sunflower butter, something different, but don't worry, I'm getting myself back on track here very, very soon. So, Mark, without further,
by the way, I feel really badly about that because I feel like it's like you and I both go to the ice cream shop, and you get like an ice cream, and I get a salad. Like I totally ruined the mood. Like I'm sorry. So, I feel like I think better when I walk and talk.
No,
so
it's so true.
Fast.
It's so true when you're just doing a walk there. No, when I'm normally talking on the phone to folks, that's normally when things are, you're getting everything moving within the body. It's great. So I love it. And I can't wait to learn about your step-by-step process.
Okay. So Jason, where do you live?
I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right. Go Hoosiers. I graduated in Bloomington, IU.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
So, so you're in Indiana.
Yep.
And I get the list of people that owe back taxes in a county in Texas. Okay. And all of a sudden I see, Jason Lucchesi owes $200 in back taxes on this 10-acre parcel in Texas.
Yeah.
So you're advertising two things to me, Jason. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to that raw land. You live in Indianapolis, the land's in Texas. Number two, you're distressed in some way because when we don't value something or we don't have the money for something, we don't pay for it.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
And so even though it's only $200, you still haven't paid those taxes. And you've been getting notices from the county treasurer for a while that if you don't pay these taxes, it's going to go to a tax deed or a tax lien auction, right?
Yep.
And something negative is going to happen. So basically what I do then is I'll take the comparable sales on that 10-acre parcel that you own. And because land is such an inefficient market, it can be all over the place. I'm going to take one of the lowest comps. And all I'm going to do is divide by 4. And that's going to give me a 300% margin of safety. Okay. And I'm going to send you an actual offer on that 10-acre parcel of land. For, let's say the comps are $10,000, I offer you $2,500. You owe $200 in back taxes. You haven't been in the property in 5 years. You don't care. $2,500 for you is better than nothing. So you accept the offer. Now, in reality, in the real world, right, 3 to 5% of people accept this quote unquote top dollar offer, 25 cents on the dollar. So you accept it. Now I've got a new problem. I got to do due diligence or research on that property. Number one, I got to make sure you actually still own the property.
Yeah.
Number two, I got to make sure the back taxes are only $200. Number three, I got to make sure there's no liens or encumbrances. Number four, I got to make sure that there's ingress, that is legal access. Number five, I want to know the GPS coordinates. This is what a buyer's going to want to know. Where are the corners? How do we get to the property? So I have this whole property checklist down the line.
Yep.
And again, we're going to have our team in the Philippines create all this information for us. If it's $5,000 or less, we're going to close directly. If it's $5,000 or more, we're going to close through a title company.
Sure.
We're not going to take so much risk, right? So now everything checks out, and I send you a check for $2,500. You deed me the property. I own the property. Now, this is where it gets fun, because I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who that is?
No.
The neighbors. Neighbors.
Oh, nice.
So I send out neighbor letters saying, hey, look, before I go to the open market, here's your opportunity. Expand your holdings, protect your views, know your neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So oftentimes the neighbor is going to buy it. Now, if the neighbor passes, we'll go to our buyers list.
Yep.
If you're a newbie, you don't have a buyers list, we'll go to a little website you've probably never heard of called Craigslist. It's the 10th most trafficked website in the United States. And using automation, I can put out about 120 ads on Craigslist by pressing a button. Same thing with Facebook buy-sell groups. So now I'm getting the biggest buyer pool possible. And the way that I'm going to sell it is I'm going to make it irresistible.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it like a car payment. So I'm going to get $2,500 as a down payment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to owner finance it for about $449 a month at 9% interest over, say, the next 8 years.
Wow.
So I'm going to get about 1,000% return on my investment. And then let's say the neighbors put down their $2,500. I got my capital out on the down payment. And now I've created a passive income stream of $449 a month over the next 8 years. And I don't have to deal with any renters, rehabs, renovations, or rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act. So any of this onerous real estate legislation.
Awesome.
So that's, and then with software, using a software program called geekpay.io, I automate the collection of that note. It manages the note for me.
Wow.
So no longer do I have to deal with a borrower. They didn't make their payment, they get a notification. They want to make a prepayment, they can log in and do it. They want to know their current balance, they can log in and see it. It does all the math, all the amortization, handles everything with the bookkeeping. It's unbelievable. So from the front end to the back end, we're 90% automated. And I work about 2 hours a week in Frontier Properties.
Wow. That is so huge, especially with the Dodd-Frank. A lot of folks, they don't really understand what that is, especially when it comes to doing actual properties, not land. A total big difference there. Because when you are doing it from a standpoint of, doing the whole financing, giving somebody seller financing on an actual property, it's capped, I believe, at 5 for the year. Correct? And then that's if you
Correct.
get it.
Then
you have to get
then you have to get an originator to
Right.
do your deal.
Yep.
Which adds these frictional costs,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts. It's the old saying, right? Money loves speed.
Yeah.
And it's going to slow down the process. The whole thing just becomes sort of a bigger headache.
Right.
When we have
Right.
that friction.
Wow. So this is really cool because a lot of the strategies that we teach folks too, it's so simple to find buyers, especially it doesn't matter if it's residential, commercial, properties, land. They're on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, they're on Craigslist, they're on YouTube. They're all over the place. I've even heard people going and putting these things on eBay and, getting really
When
great
I
returns
first started,
on eBay.
I sold on eBay. Yeah, absolutely.
Because people find land on there, and land is much cheaper than buying a property, and people may want to build on that. So it's huge. That's awesome.
I mean, Jason, there is a pig for every barn. I've been doing this for so long. I mean, it's crazy. Like I had a guy the other day call me by a 5-acre parcel in Colorado, and there's no utilities. You're about an hour and a half from town.
Yeah.
He's not going to build out there. You know what he wants to do out there?
What?
He wants to hunt rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes.
He's like, you don't know, there's rattlesnakes out there, and I love hunting rattlesnakes. His buddy calls the next day. He buys the adjoining parcel next to him. So him and his buddy have 10 acres now to go out and kill rattlesnakes on their raw land.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I would never see myself. I would probably never see myself doing, hunting for rattlesnakes of all things. Like, how do you even do that? They're so probably hard to spot.
I mean, it's incredible.
As long as he has the cash, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything from legacy investors all the way to people that, just think it's cool to own raw land and want to increase their net worth and show their banker, look, I've got a real asset. It's really, you don't realize it. There's a lust for land in this country.
Oh yeah.
And because, it's such an unsexy niche, right? Like you're not going to go on HGTV or the DIY network and see flip this land. Like it's just me in front of my computer geeking out, right?
Yeah.
Like and then if you go to a RIA meeting and there's 100 people in that meeting, 99 of them are going to be wholesalers, flippers, or landlords. You and I, Jason, are only land guys.
Yeah.
So we got this massive market, no one doing it, no big money, no private equity groups, no hedge funds. It's an amazing time to be in land.
So yeah, you're really going at it in a very low competitive, in a very strategic manner. So let's talk about this. Say for instance, I'm a new investor. I'm getting involved. What would be my best approach for wanting to tackle this? Because I might not have, the capital to take down a certain amount of these. But if you're like me, like when I started, I spent so much freaking money on training programs. It was around 40,000. So to go at your number, I don't have my calculator in front of me, but if I did 40,000 divided by 300, that would put me at quite a bit of acquisitions. Mike, do we have it? 680 of those. 40,000 divided by, let's just say $300. So it'd give me 133 of those liens that I could buy back, and then I could 300% my money, which would be a huge amount. But let's just say, each week I live paycheck to paycheck. What's the best route that you encourage folks to start with?
So, we live in the best time ever, right? So there's no more secrets. I don't have all the secrets. You don't spend $40,000 to get all the secrets, right? There are no more secrets. Essentially, training though is very, very important. I look at it like, if you want to climb Mount Everest, because even though it's a simple model, this is not easy. Real estate in and of itself, there's nothing easy about it. There's lots of little steps along the way.
Sure.
So if you're climbing that mountain, do you want to climb by yourself or do you want to go with a Sherpa who's already been up there a million times? So you want to find a Sherpa that's already done what you want to do and you want to smart cut it. Now, obviously, you don't want to invest 40 grand if you're just starting. So certainly there is a plethora of free information out there. I have podcasts. You can Google, how to invest in raw land. There's tons of information out there.
Yeah.
So find your Sherpa, don't go it, completely blind. So get some education, but I would say after that, don't sit on the education, take action.
Yeah.
And the first piece of action you want to take is county research. What are the best counties to invest in? There's 3,007 US counties. Where do I go? I mean, look, are you going to go buy infill lots in Manhattan or San Francisco for $2 million and flip them for $4 million? No. Right. So we're going to look for rural land, raw, undeveloped land that's inexpensive. So I had a client, Paul. Paul's got no money, right? Sends out his offers. He gets an accepted offer, no money to buy the property.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Because it's, there's not like 7 other offers down the line, right? There's no one doing it. So essentially he tells his seller, look, it's going to take me 90 days to do due diligence and I'll close in 90 days.
Yeah.
Seller says, fine. So it doesn't take 90 days of due diligence, it takes 2 days. So what does Paul do? He buys himself the 90 days to find himself a new buyer. So he sends out his neighbor letters. The neighbor wants it. He takes the money from the neighbor, then takes that money, pays off his seller. He does a dual close. He creates $8,000 in cash just by sending out letters.
Nice.
So you can't be completely broke to do this business because it's a business. You need to have some capital. But I promise you, if you lock up any asset, I don't care what asset it is, land, a car, anything, 25 cents on the dollar, there's someone else at the other end of that deal, even if you just wholesale it out at 100% return.
I agree. Especially in today's market. We just did an episode not too long ago with somebody where we were talking about private money, and there's so much money, so much capital out there right now that somebody is, if you've got a killer deal, if you're truly buying deals for pennies on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar, and somebody sees the opportunity there, they're going to not pass on that deal. They're going to move forward. They're going to proceed like none other, because you're not making these types of returns on the stock market right now. The volatility index right now, it's very, very shaky. Unless you know for sure something's going to either go up or it's going to go down, the best thing to do from a trading standpoint is to know how to get into options, because it's so risky right now. And you coming from the background that you did, you probably have a little bit more insight on that, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, 85% of the public companies are managed not for the investors, but for management, right? So, I'm a control freak, and I want to be able to control every aspect of a transaction. I don't want to leave it up to anything else.
Yeah.
So I can pick the location, I can choose my price, I can choose my terms. I mean, I have total control of it. And for me, that really helps me sleep way better at night than, blindly throwing my money into a public company that maybe I know, 2% of.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what they do, but I mean, let's just look at GE's financials, right? You could have a PhD in economics. I promise you, you won't completely understand their financials. It is too complex.
Yeah.
Right. And no one has the time either to do that. So that's where I think the beauty of real estate is. And we all know that if you really want to have a high net worth, the number one way to do that is real estate.
It truly is, because if you're looking to replace whatever income you're doing, like Mark was just explaining, he's got a really great deal to where he had somebody come in. The example you did with this 10-acre lot, you got $2,500 down, and you are making $499 per month, and you did it at what percentage rate again? Was it 9 or 12%?
I did 9.
9.
You can go up to like 12.9, because think about it. It's easy money for them. They can control a 10-acre parcel.
Yeah.
Without having to do any kind of outside financing. So oftentimes they'll just look at can I make that monthly payment? They're not so interested in the total price of the property,
Right,
or, the interest rate. They want to know, can I make the monthly?
Sure. And the thing with that is, if you're looking to replace maybe your income right now, you need 10 of those. 10 of those, you're making $5,000 per month. And Mark, let me ask you this: do you have to worry about, somebody similar as like a property manager just coming around? Like, actually, they'd probably just zip by and be like, okay, the land's still there, nobody's building on it, it's good to go. You probably don't even need that. But is there like any outside maintenance other than that, or is the $499 that's like the net? And I know you obviously have to pay like your VAs and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part on that particular parcel, I'm assuming it's very, very, the margins, you probably don't have much as far as overhead on each parcel.
No, your biggest piece of overhead is going to be mailing. And then after that, it's just, do you want some, software, maybe some hosting fees? I mean, I think that on average, you're looking at about a $500 to $1,000 monthly overhead piece.
Okay. No, that's,
I mean, I recommend that if you're going to do this, send out 20 offers a day, right? Because think about it. It's like I when I work out, I'll do the 10-minute workout. Why? It's only 10 minutes. Like it's manageable. If you tell me I have to work out an hour a day, if I told you I have to make 100 offers a day, you're like, right.
Yeah.
But even with software, so it makes it very manageable to just do a little bit every day. And then, it adds up. And by the 45th day, you should be closing your first deal. And the game you want to play is, can I create enough passive income notes where the passive income exceeds my fixed expenses? And I'm working because I want to, not because I have to. Yeah. And we have so many clients that have been able to retire their spouses. They were able to quit their jobs. They're able to travel around the world. I had Scott Todd, who does the podcast with me in 18 months. 17 months and 3 days. It took me 18 months. He was able to replace his Fortune 300 executive income in 17 months and 3 days in land investing.
Wow.
So it's one of those things where it's just like anything in life. If you hyper focus, you take action, it will move the needle. Oftentimes, we get in our own way. We overthink it, we overanalyze it, we get scared, and we derail ourselves.
It's so true. It's so true, man. And that's what happened to me when I first got started. I bought all these training programs, and I was literally, I tell this story, I was literally sitting on the floor, and I had all these training programs circling me, and I was just like, my mind was just like, where do I even begin? Like, I had one on apartments, I had one on rehabs, I had one on wholesaling, one on marketing. It was just all over the place. I had no idea where to even go, where to even start. So it really began for me when I just focused on one thing until I started seeing the results. And it's pretty much the same thing with any type of thing. If you want to be successful in life, is you really, like you said, Mark, you have to get hyper focused, and you really just have to go full speed at it. So that's just great. That's great. I really like that you shared that, because for people out there that are listening to this right now, they're probably thinking, well, what's the quickest way that I could replace my income? It doesn't really take that many of these things to do that, which is beautiful. So
yeah, absolutely. One of my mentors, Ori, he would look at me and I would say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm doing that. He's like, Mark, you're not killing ants. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not killing ants? He's like, remember when you were a kid and you took the little magnifying glass? He's like, if you move the magnifying glass around, ant to ant to ant, you're creating a lot of heat, but you're not killing an ant. You got to hold it there. He's like, that's what you need to do. You need to focus and kill an ant. So I always remember that, like what you were saying, like you were creating a lot of heat, but you weren't killing an ant. And then when you focused, you killed an ant.
Right. That's true. That's true. Well, let me ask you this, as we're coming here to this part of the show, for folks that, I always ask this in our podcast, what would you recommend? What's your best business / entrepreneur book that you've read within the last 12 months that you would encourage folks to read? Uh-oh.
The one that I wrote. I just wrote this, Dirt Rich.
Oh, nice, dude. Congratulations. Nice.
Thank you. How one ambitiously lazy geek created passive income in real estate without renters, renovations, or rehabs.
Oh, that's
Jason,
awesome.
This is probably going to change the world. I'm just kidding.
It probably is.
Yeah, I really feel very salesy saying that, but in all seriousness, it's a fine book, and if you're interested in land investing, I think it's a fine book. But in all seriousness, to really answer your question, like a great book that I think can be transformative is going to be The One Thing by Gary Keller. I love that book.
That is a really good book.
It's a great book. I also like the 12-week year as well.
Haven't read that one.
When you combine those two books, it can really be transformative.
No, that's awesome, man. No, let's hold up your book one more time. I am that's awesome. So Dirt Rich, where can people find that book, Mark?
We've not set an official launch date yet.
Okay.
But we will.
Cool, man.
And so if they go to thelandgeek.com and they do /dirt-rich, they can download the first chapter for free.
Sweet.
And then they'll get on our list and we'll send them like bonuses and all that good stuff with the book.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And at the beginning of the show, we were talking a little bit. You also have a podcast, which if you guys enjoy this short show, where and I say short, but it's been about a half hour, and it's been filled with nothing but amazing content. Like I was like, completely wowed. Like, and it's really hard to do that. So, what is the name of your podcast that people can find you on, Mark, and they could tune into your show as well?
It's the Art of Passive Income podcast.
The Art of Passive Income
podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, and Jason's going to come on our show. He promised me. And now all the listeners are going to hold him up to it. So email Jason. Have you been on Mark's podcast yet? No.
I scheduled it. I swear.
You did schedule it? Okay.
I swear. But also too, how can people outside of the podcast, do you have like a website like people can go and visit and check you out and maybe?
Yeah. I mean, they can get a lot of information at thelandgeek.com.
Okay.
And they can download for free our passive income blueprint, the ebook, How to Avoid the 3 Fatal Land Buying Mistakes, and get the podcast delivered each week to their email inbox.
Sweet.
And just to sweeten it, Jason, if they email support at thelandgeek.com and they put in the subject line Jason Lucchesi or the name, what the flipping
the No Flipping Excuses show.
The No Flipping Excuses show, we'll send them our $97 passive income launch kit course for free.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that with Mark. He's got some amazing things over at his website for our listeners. Mark, before we go ahead and call it a wrap, is there any parting words that you would like to give to our listeners that are on this episode?
Yeah, I love to quote Zig Ziglar. And he says, if you'll do for the next 3 to 5 years what other people won't do, you'll be able to do for the rest of your life what other people can't do.
Oh, I love that.
So when you think about that, I mean, it's and that's true. Like if you focus in real estate, it's just 3 to 5 years, right? Of really hyper focusing, you'll be able to do the rest of your life what other people can't do. And it's incredible.
It is, man. It is. That's such a great quote from Zig. He was such an amazing individual. His books are still awesome. Anything that you can watch of him, he was a master of his craft, that's for sure. And before I go ahead and say goodbye to everybody, make sure that you become a subscriber if you aren't a subscriber. I know for a fact this was an amazing show. Mark delivered amazing content on how you can get involved in the land business. He was the first to get on the No Flipping Excuses show to talk about land, and he blew it out of the water. So become a subscriber. You will get first notifications of when we launch new episodes just like this. And also make sure that you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you give us the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it, or else Mark is going to get really upset at you. Really upset. He may take your land away from you.
No, I mean, look, I'm super geeky. Like you could get the, no 5-star review or no like virus.
Ooh.
By the Land Geek. So it's not to scare anybody or threaten anybody. I would never do that. I'm just saying.
He's got the geek hack on how to take your land from you if you don't leave us a 5-star review. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to, he's got all these special hacks and stuff. I don't want to know how he does it, but I'll joke.
Jason, this podcast got dark real fast. I mean, it really took a really dark, angry turn there.
Some folks may get a little freaked out. I'm just disclaimer: Mark does not have some geek hack to take your land away from you. I just full disclosure there. He does not have.
It was all in love and good joking and fun.
Absolutely. But other than that, I really appreciate you being with us today, Mark. And for those listening, you have an amazing day, and make it no flipping excuses. Go out there, make it happen. Get some land. Go get some flipping land and start getting that passive income for yourself. But I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for listening. For show notes and links to anything discussed on today's program, visit noflippingexcuses.com. If you'd like to call the show, dial 317-900-1307, 24/7. Leave a message with your first name and where you're calling from, and include your question, comment, or concern. Who knows? You might end up on the air with Jason Lucchesi. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. The links are posted at noflippingexcuses.com. Remember, you can close more deals now, make your own rules, and design and live an amazing life without having some jerk-off boss tell you what to do. Share noflippingexcuses.com with like-minded people you know who are ready for badassery, crushing it in real estate, and enjoying freedom to whatever you like, whenever you like it.